Chapter 19 of Betty Baird by Hamlin Weikel. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Holly Jensen. Chapter 19. Betty and Lois Talk Over the Summer. Two delighted girls threw themselves into each other's arms on the opening day of their third year at the Pines. Lois had spent the summer in Europe with her father. Betty had stayed in Weston, with the exception of a number of short visits to relatives with her parents. Each was full of questions and stirring tales of the summer's experiences. As soon as dinner was finished, they rushed up to their room, and after some preliminary hugs and kisses and smoothings of hair and exclamations of delight at being together again, they began. Fast as the human tongue could go, they recited in turn every detail of the summer. Lois told of her travels in England, Scotland, Holland, France, and Switzerland, of interesting places and quaint customs. Fascinating as they had been, however, her warm heart turned readily enough from them to the people in Weston, whom she had learned to love dearly, because they first had given her insight into the depths of genuine human affections, of which, by reason of her early orphanhood and her father's traveling life, she had known almost nothing before her visit to Weston 2 years before. She insisted that Betty must tell her everything connected with her father and mother, which the latter gladly did, then asked her, "Now, Lois, whom do you want to hear about next?" "Oh, dear Miss Jane and Elder Huggentugler, of course, the two dearest old people in the world," exclaimed Lois. "Yes, but I can't tell you about them both at once, can I? Which one first?" insisted Betty. "Well, Miss Jane first," said Lois. "How often I think of her. Does she still calculate how eggs is?" "Oh, dear, yes. And she still knits wash rags. I have one she sent you. I forgot to get it out of my trunk. The red border shows her love for you. Only her pets get a red border, for she thinks it a sinful waste of time to ornament anything but waists. I was at her house for tea just before I left home, and it was one of the best meals I ever ate. Such neatness and refinement, too. But just imagine how I felt, Lois, when we were seated and her mother said to me, 'Make yourself to hum, 'Lizbeth. We're to hum, and we wish you was, too.'" But Betty, I don't understand. Her mother is one of the dearest old ladies in the world. Surely she didn't mean that she wanted you to go home?" "Wanted me to go home?" And Betty laughed and laughed until the tears ran down her cheeks. "Why, of course not, you little goose. What she meant was that she wanted me to feel as homey as if it were really my own home." "Oh!" exclaimed Lois, and she too laughed hilariously. "But that wasn't the funniest," Betty continued. "Miss Jane's nephew was there, and when I took a second leg of the best fried chicken I ever tasted, the little fellow eyed me in such a heartbroken way and squalled out, 'Oh, Auntie Jane, there she's gone and et my leg.'" "Oh, I can see it all, just how Miss Jane glared at him," laughed Lois. "Didn't she, though? So many funny things happened this summer." "Oh, tell me every one of them. I love to hear about those dear funny people." "Why, just think. One Sunday morning, dear old Elder Huggentugler, evidently absorbed in something, walked into the church clear down to his pew, which you know is in the very front, with his hat on and his old green umbrella open and held high over his head. Even Father had to hide a smile behind his hand. What's that speech Mr. Dinkum said every Wednesday night at prayer meeting? I was trying to think of it this summer to tell Father when he was blue, but I couldn't remember exactly what it was." "Oh, Lois, don't you remember how he always wound up, his trembling voice rising continually to the end? 'So I'll roll round with the year and never stand still, till the Master appears and says, "It is enough, come up higher."'" "Has he washed yet?" asked Lois, laughing. "There's no evidence of it," said Betty. "You know how clean Elder Huggentugler always is. He says it riles his stomach to see that dirty man." One Wednesday evening in prayer meeting, I was sitting next to him. We were singing, 'On Jordan's Stormy Banks I Stand,' and right in front of us was Mr. Dinkum, singing at the top of his voice. The elder leaned over to me, and with such a funny twinkle in his eye, whispered, 'I hope that dirty man falls in and washes some of the coal off of him before he gets across,' and he grinned most maliciously. You know how the elder used to talk about that screech owl, as he always called the organ. He's gotten all over that. He loves music so much that he couldn't keep out. We organized a choir and always sang an opening anthem, and he just couldn't keep away. He says now he really believes he isn't as much of a stick in the mud as he thought he was." "Perhaps your singing in the choir had something to do with the change," suggested Lois. "Do you think so?" asked the surprised girl. "I never thought of that. I guess it was his love for music, not for me." "Do you remember Mary Smith," she continued, "who came to the house one evening with her beau John Hill for tickets for the festival and stayed so long and said such funny things? Well, they were married this summer." "Oh, were they?" exclaimed Lois. "Yes, they came to our house for the ceremony. Mary insisted on having a rehearsal, though there was no one but our family to witness the ceremony. So we all went into the sitting room where Father rehearsed them. As we started to the parlor, Mary admonished John to keep his hat on during the ceremony. When I objected, she said she thought as she wore her hat, he ought to wear his, adding, 'He looks so nice in his new stovepipe,' and John wore it." The girls laughed until Jess came in to see what they were laughing about. End of chapter 19. Recording by Holly Jensen.